My name is Papaioannou. I'm 16 years old, I live with my family, and I've been attending Fitzroy High since year 7. I did my 3 weeks of work experience at 3 different places: Papa Tom, Clifton Hill Primary School, and Wild Action. I chose to do Papa Tom because I have been raised in a musical and artistic sort of surrounding, so doing photography was appealing. I was kind of forced into Clifton Hill Primary due to the fact that I had no other work placement and James made me choose one with like 2 weeks notice. I worked with Wild Action because since I was a child I grew up watching The Crocodile Hunter, and since then I fell in love with animals and always wanted to work with them. The tasks I completed with Tom, who is my uncle, were mostly photography based. We went out on location to St Patrick's Cathedral and walked all the way up to Federation Square. We sat in his home office and edited all the photos we took in Photoshop. We also went out to IKEA to buy a frame for a big print of Tom's. He taught me some of his skills when it comes to taking photos and editing. He taught me about the rule of thirds, considering placement of objects in the picture before actually taking it. He taught me how to clone things in Photoshop so I could get rid of things like electricity lines, unnecessary trees. He also taught me about color correction and changing shadows, highlights, midtones all individually. The only person in his company is my Uncle Tom. He owns it and runs it, with the occasional help from his partner. He has had many occupations in his lifetime. He was a flight attendant for Qantas, worked in customer service, banking, and many more different jobs. The aspects I loved most was going to different locations while walking around taking photos, and also getting to spend more time with my Uncle Tom, which I don't get very often. There weren't really any bad aspects other than the occasional technical difficulty with cameras or Photoshop. The tasks I completed during my week at Clifton Hill Primary were photocopying checkbooks for Grade 5 Earn and Learn program. I helped kids in prep with reading, writing and spelling, and when some of the kids had Mandarin I walked them to the different classroom. While I was working with the art teacher, one of their classes was starting their Tim Burton subject, which I started when I was in Grade 6. There was one girl who just sat there watching Nightmare Before Christmas, grinning ear to ear, miming along to every word. I didn't really gain any new skills or knowledge while I was there. One kid told me he wanted to go to Canberra so he could throw tomatoes at Tony Abbott. I loved helping the kids because when you praise them or help them, you could see the happiness in their eyes. I didn't really like lunch and recess, it was so cold and a bit boring. There were so many tasks I completed while at Wild Action. I cleaned out snake and lizard tanks, drained crocodile tanks, shoveled and placed down sand in the wallaby enclosure and a little in the koala enclosure, put branches in the koala enclosure, emptied and replaced sawdust and newspaper in the temporary penguin tubs, decorated tanks for the new copperhead and baby saltwater crocodiles, and many, many more. I gained a little bit of skill with handling animals, but this week was more maintenance and cleaning, as everyday zoo jobs are. I probably got a little bit more muscle. That's really all skill-wise. The people there are all different, had different interesting stories and how they got jobs at Wild Action. And barely any of them actually have 2 degrees, zoology degrees. The aspect I love of this work was being surrounded by different animals, whether it was snakes or koalas or kangaroos. The aspect I hated was waking up early, having to leave my bed, and spend all day cleaning and working hard in like 5-degree weather. Work experience sort of threw all my plans up in the air. I did want to work with animals, not in a zoo environment though. I want to be more of an Animal Planet guy. When it comes to VCE, I'm going to choose subjects that I like and see where that takes me. Just see what I'm good at. I want, and as an ideal job, on TV with animals. But of course it's not really realistic. Advice to you 9, plan early, make sure your paperwork gets in on time, and go for things you do want to do so then you know whether you're good at them and whether you want to do them. That's it. Bye.